So next, and this is the final presentation in this session. So we are looking at Satcom on the move, SOTM. So the growing need for instant, reliable communication. And this is with Guillaume Aris from ND Satcom.
Merhaba, everybody. Thank you, Prof, for inviting us here, for giving us the opportunity to speak. And, well, I'm the last one before lunch, so I'll try to make it quick and hopefully interesting so that we all get to lunch in a good mood. Is this like that? Sorry. Okay. So yes, Satcom on the move, the growing need for instant, reliable communication. Just a short word about ND Satcom. For those who don't know us, we're a small to medium-sized company based in the south of Germany, but we've been around in the Satcom business for a long time, over 30 years. And we're something maybe a bit special, something between a manufacturer and a system integrator. I like to see us as a system integrator, manufacturing key components whenever necessary and whenever required by the customer. So I will not talk about, launching new constellations or anything like that today. Maybe it's a bit less future-oriented, but it's about what's happening today already. It's about new applications, sometimes using existing technologies, sometimes looking at the latest developments. But it's been doing the job for us for a long time, and I think also for our customers. So we tend to be less in the mass market and a little bit more in the, let's say, customized solutions for very often government customers, but also customers who have a very high dependency on their network safety, etc. So if you can see, we're number one in air traffic control. We have delivered many SNGs, Earth stations, etc. And defense business is still about 50% of our revenues. And we see more and more that Satcom on the move, which used to be reserved or, let's say, from a price point of view, very often limited to government solutions, is more and more coming in the commercial field. And here we're not talking future plans, we're talking things we're already doing today for our existing customers. So the Satcom on the move, SOTM, benefits for critical communications. That's one example I'll take today. Obvious benefit is communication whenever nothing else is available. It's the security, a very, very safe, very independent communication network. And obviously it's in the name, the mobility. So when we talk about the growing need for instant, reliable communication, I see it threefold. First, the issues for emergency or critical services is that we can support mission-critical push-to-talk, MCPTT. And it's not limited to that kind of, let's say, narrow-band, very critical applications, but also bandwidth-hungry applications. So like high-definition video. And I'm not talking outbound, like most systems, which are DVB-based on the outbound and with some other scheme on the inbound, but we're talking inbound high-definition video. So you want basically the guys on the field to send you a high-quality video feed for analysis, for decision-making, etc. And that must be very flexible. It is a topology that can vary over time while you're fighting a fire or anything like that. So it's nothing you can plan much in advance, and it's something where you need maximum flexibility. The second point is the safety of the network, basically. The high dependency on secure and reliable communication in such situations. So voice, very often still number one, but also data and video more and more with new tools for analysis and for better decisions of how to fight a disaster. Very often the alternative ways, such as cellular, are no longer available or no longer reliable or only with sketchy coverage because of disruptions. Public networks, if you're talking strategic interests, if you're talking attack on a government or anything which is not of natural cause, is then also can be questionable, let's say, and that's where you need a fully controlled network when you cannot depend on a mass network where many people have access, but where you want to be in control of your network. Yeah. Mobility requirement as last point, but obviously for on the move a very important one. We're not talking transportable here, and on the move per se is not always the great aim. I mean, you don't always want to do something while driving just because you like driving, obviously, but one of the side effects, which is a very positive advantage, is that you're always ready, basically. You don't have any setup time, you can move again, it brings you flexibility in your operational scenario. You're always on. You don't have a scenario while you're driving, another scenario while you're stopping somewhere. You can have this bubble concept like we saw yesterday in a very interesting presentation. So this Satcom terminal can be a base for more whatever PTT or any other way within a short range of the terminal. So when we say instant reliable communication for emergency situation, obviously it's not like in the icon tweeting about it, but it's how is your operational scenario developing, and how is your readiness with such systems able to cope with these situations. So we talked about latency a lot yesterday with LEOs and MEOs and how critical it is, and it's true. I mean, for some applications it's very critical. One way to do it as well today with the existing geo, let's say satellites which are available all over, and with bandwidth prices which are coming down, is just to have one satellite hop instead of two. I mean, you're already halving your latency, so you can guarantee also for critical application that if you never have more than one hop, even when you're talking from remote to remote, so from firefighter to firefighter or whoever to whoever, if you're always under 300 milliseconds, then it's already, let's say, half of your problem which is solved based on the existing technology today. The next point is high flexibility is demanded. So instead of fixed pipes, let's say, typical microwave scenario or a CPC or anything more fixed in advance, a bandwidth pool offers you the flexibility to adapt. So we were talking about these high video rates. Inbound, it might come from one point, from another one. You don't always choose in advance. It might vary very quickly over time. So this is something where your bandwidth pool and shared access between all stations over the same bandwidth pool gives you not only the highest efficiency, but also the highest flexibility. And this while still guaranteeing your quality of service, application for application. If you want remote for remote with different profiles, that's something you can already do today. So basically these guys, when they're in action, let's say, this mission critical push to talk, this is not us saying, obviously, it's the 3GPP resolution, should provide a mouse-to-ear latency that is less than 300 milliseconds for 95% of all voice bursts. This is something you can achieve with single hop already today. Yeah. So we're talking efficiency, economy, etc., but at the end of the day, the critical elements of such a communication need to be supported according to what's expected by the user. You can't make second choices or optimization about that. You have to deliver. And that's something you can already do today. So some of the other application requirements, okay, there's a big list here, but basically one thing we didn't touch upon is the security, so top right, with encryption, secure authentication, eavesdrop protection, anti-jamming. This is nowadays with threats which become more and more sophisticated. It's something where you want full control of your network, and we can deliver depending on the requirement, but encryption or support encryption if you already have one, or authenticate every station in the network, etc., etc. I think I'll switch for the next. Network reliability, one of my favorites. I've been in this company for almost 20 years now, and it's still one of the big bluffs you can do whenever there's a factory acceptance test, or whenever the customer needs a demonstration that your network is really resilient. Is we have a station we call the master. It's like a small hub. And this is the station doing the bandwidth allocation. And it's wonderful when you do a factory acceptance to just take off the plug of this station and see the network still going, the phone calls still going on, the video being not interrupted, etc., etc. We have a concept of, I mean, we've been doing it for years, but it's master, backup master. We've made it we've enlarged it to multiple master. Today you can do 4 master. I think in the next release you can decide how many masters you have. Basically it's one station which is just like the others, but has a different role, which is software defined. So just by giving this role to that station, you can decide where the network intelligence will be. You can decide where the backup for that will be. You can decide how often they check on each other. And typically what's happening is in a usual design is that you have 2 to 3 seconds where the bandwidth is still active in the network, so every station still have their own application running, especially the real-time applications, but you cannot have a change of bandwidth allocation within those 3 seconds. After that, it keeps on like before. So you could have a bomb on your master station, it keeps on going. Yeah. That's something when you're facing critical situations, which is very important. The next one, so this is the, sorry, I should have done that before, the master, backup master, or multiple master. This is also something that can work for, let's say, geographical redundancy. If you have a big storm somewhere without thinking of, let's say, human action. But basically, your network is resilient. It's always there. Your NMS is only there for logs and for change of configuration, but your network is always running, and you know, even if the main point is failing, it keeps on going. Yeah. The next thing you want is to control the whole thing. Yeah? So trust is good, control is better. What we do a lot, this comes from a little bit from our defense background, a little bit from our broadcast background and some TT&C applications as well, is that we have a monitor and control solution which is fairly broadly based on drivers from many vendors. So it's something we're used to do, first obviously with Satcom elements within the network, but we're also used to controlling your fuel level in the vehicle, your power level, if you have batteries and UPS in the mobile system, that kind of thing, the temperature, all these things. And it's something where it gives you peace of mind to know everything is still in green and it keeps on going. Yeah. Then mobility. I'll do now what salesman should never do, actually. I'm a bit conservative guy. But obviously, we always tell you it works all the time. It's perfect. It's German quality, I would say, or something like that. But there's something you can't go against. It's the laws of physics. And obviously, in COTAM or satellite on the move, your line of sight gets interrupted sometimes. You have bridges, you have tunnels, you have trees, you can have anything. What we have, and it's inbuilt, again, it's not big development, but it's something where we constantly adapt based on our customers' requirement, is that we have a technology based on very short frames and with very high packet switching speed. So we managed to get pretty high throughput, about, let's say, nowadays for one carrier, about 20 megabits per second, up to 8 carriers. So it's still decent, but based on very small packets. This is a built-in advantage. Okay, it's not optimized for a broadcast, I don't know, video distribution, but it gives an advantage that obviously this flexibility and this high reactivity is also there when you have an interruption of your line of sight. So if your line of sight is interrupted and the antenna comes back online, because you have lots of many good on-the-move solutions from the RF side today, but if your modem cannot follow, if you need 10, 20, 30 seconds to pick up the signal again and to be in the network, then the best antenna is no use. Yeah? In that case, what we do, modem plus RF, so antenna, buck, everything synchronized, modem on, application going, so basically your voice going through or your video going through, we can guarantee that the full reacquisition is there within 200 milliseconds. And that means, okay, I think the best is, I don't talk anymore, I just show you. This is when things go wrong. So you go under a bridge. It's a big bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're back again. The bridge didn't cause any loss of synchronization. The trees, okay, you can see you have pixels. Another bridge. This is a good check to know what's happening when things do get wrong. So nobody can go against physics. It will get interrupted. The question is how quickly you reacquire. And that's something we've optimized a lot. We've tested all the fancy things, you know, German Autobahn, 200 kilometers per hour and all these things. But that's actually quite easy because you're straight and it's well planned. But all these interruptions of your line of sight, this is when you want to know, does it still keep on going? Yeah? And that's where, like I said, we're more in the system integration / manufacturing, but we try to always customize our solution exactly to fit your requirement. That's it. Thank you.